Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast of American Corner Yogyakarta. Here I am, Tapan Farijal, as the volunteers in American Corner Yogyakarta. We have a special guest all the way coming from United States here, with Cassandra Hallet, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in today's special episode of Podcast of American Corner Jakarta, we will talk about building bridges, the life and impact of a Peace Corps volunteers with Cassandra Hallet. Okay, so before we moving on, I guess I will let you to introduce yourself first. Cassandra, you may go on.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Cassandra Hallet, but you can call me Cassie. I'm currently a Peace Corps volunteer, and I work as an English teacher at a middle school in West Java. And I have a year left of service in Indonesia, so I'm halfway through. But thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited.
Okay, thank you also for joining us here today. So, Cassandra, can you, or Cassie, can I call you
Yeah,
Cassie,
of
right?
course.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about what is Peace Corps itself? Like, what is the definition itself to the audience, maybe?
Sure. So, Peace Corps' main mission is to promote peace and friendship throughout the world. So, it's to provide trained workers from the US to other countries and to also do cross cultural exchange. So, a lot of US citizens can learn more about the culture outside of the US. And they also have a mission to bring the culture that they've learned in those countries back to the US, to the American citizens.
Oh, wow, that's very generous.
Mhm.
I love that. So, I guess, since you are the volunteers, right, and you have been working in Indonesia for more than a year now,
Mhm.
uh, can you tell us, like, maybe the reasons, like, why you decided to be part of the volunteers itself? Maybe you can go, please.
Of course. So, this started when I was in middle school, actually in fifth grade. So, my mom wanted to be a diplomat, but
Oh,
she
wow.
didn't choose that route. So she kind of talked me into it because she knows I love traveling. She knew I like the finer things in life, and she's like, "Oh, you would be a good diplomat." So in fifth grade, I remember we had like a class session where we all had to draw what we want to be as an adult in the future, professionally. Everyone drew like military, police, teacher, lawyer. I
Okay.
drew myself as a diplomat.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that before I become an official diplomat, I would like to train myself to be the best I can be before being an official one. And Peace Corps provides that space for me. So provides me like a firsthand field experience into people to people diplomacy, and also by helping underdeveloped communities, which is what I've always done throughout my university years as well. So it's kind of like a perfect blend of the two, my two passions. So I decided right after college I was going into Peace Corps as a stepping stone into my diplomacy career, but also to continue to give back to communities.
Oh, wow, very interesting. Now that you mentioned that you have always dreamed to be a diplomat, now, if I'm not mistaken, that you also chose a bachelor degree of political science, right?
Correct.
Oh, we're on the same page.
Oh,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
study also political science. I'm an alumni from the MU University.
Uh-huh.
I studied international relations major. It's in political science study. So we very have a lot in common. And we're also volunteering, right? I'm in American Corner of Jakarta, and you're in Peace Corps. So we have a lot of in commons, guys. Yeah, today is very special.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on for the next session or the next question, maybe, yeah. Uh, since we know that you are volunteering in Peace Corps, so there must be some task or maybe some responsibility that you have to do, right, as a volunteers itself.
Yes.
Can you tell us a story or maybe like daily activities that you usually do as a volunteers in Peace Corps itself?
Absolutely. So, Peace Corps volunteer in Indonesia. So, we only have the education sector. So, our primary project is to teach English in middle or high schools.
Uh,
And we can choose secondary projects as well. So on top of teaching, we can do English clubs or English for teachers. But it also doesn't have to be in the education sector. You can also think outside of the box. So a lot of people like make basketball courts or
wow.
go into technology. So their secondary project is in providing more technology for the school. I know a couple of people who are also working with farmers, like myself at site. So kind of going into
Wow.
agriculture. So my daily life there goes like, I don't have classes on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so I reserve those days to focus on my secondary projects. But from Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I always wake up at 5 a.m. and
Wow.
yeah, go to school starts at 7. I usually have between 2 to 4 classes each day. I go home around lunchtime, so around 1 p.m. And when I go home, I just hang out with anyone and everyone I can, my neighbors, the neighborhood
Ah.
street cats, my host family. And during my days off where I focus on my secondary projects, I hang out with like the farmers or I hold meetings with the local agriculture department staff or just meeting with other people from my community to see if there's anything else I can help with.
Oh wow, that's very generous. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. And also, I think it is very important for us as Indonesian students to learn English more
Yes.
because English is still one of the basic language that we have use later on for our needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very beneficial for us. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And maybe if I can ask a little bit more about these questions, since you mentioned that most of the time that you're volunteering is focusing more on teaching, right? Since the focus in Indonesia is education, can you maybe tell us where is are you teaching? Like in which city and maybe in what school? Like is it junior high school or is it a senior high school students? Maybe can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. I won't name you exactly where I'm at, but I will give you some guesses.
Okay.
Chiri
Okay, that's
in
nice.
the foothills of the tallest mountain in West Java, Mount Ciremai.
In
So,
Chiang Mai Mountain.
yes, on the
Okay.
foothills of Ciremai
Oh, in the
Mountain.
foothills.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cities nearby, right? And I teach at a middle school.
In middle school.
Yeah, SMP.
Oh, SMP. Wow. Yeah, I forgot that she fluent in speaking Indonesian, guys. She's really good.
Mhm.
So, okay, that's really nice. So
Yeah.
it's in West Java, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, because I'm also coming from West
Yeah.
Java, so it's really cool to see that. Okay, so you said also that you teach 4 classes like for a day. Is it tiring for you or is there any obstacles that you do for like the whole days? Because we know that you are not Indonesians and maybe you are still sometimes shocked with our cultures
Mhm.
and everything and with our language maybe that you still not understand very much. So is there any challenges or maybe obstacles that you have been do so far while volunteering here in Indonesia?
So with your first question, with teaching, do I have obstacles there? Yes. Especially in a middle school, you have to
Yeah.
always be on all the time, but I think that's for every teacher. You always have to be on.
Yeah, right.
I love my middle schoolers because they're so energetic and they're so
Yeah.
funny, but sometimes I have like bad days and I just don't have the
Oh,
energy, so that's when it gets difficult. And
very understandable.
I love my counterparts, all of them. But sometimes, we're bound to disagree on a couple of things.
Mm.
But it's not something that's too difficult to handle. Just the daily obstacles that I sometimes have to negotiate with them. And in terms of culturally, yes, I would say the biggest culture shock would be in terms of privacy. I think,
Oh,
yeah,
privacy.
very different because in America, the culture is very more independent,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So in here, and I don't mean this in a negative way because it's a very communal space. Like it's nice to know that people care about you and they always want to know like what you're doing,
Yeah.
where you are. So I really appreciate that. But sometimes I think because I'm very used to the American independence culture
I
still,
see, I see.
it's a bit of a struggle for me to adjust to that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
understandable. It's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, sometimes we also need some space, right?
Yeah.
Some space to calm ourselves and everything. And then when we have recharged our energy, then we can go back and everything, do our own tasks and challenges and
Exactly.
everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but so far you're really doing great, right, Indonesia, right? You're having
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
I hope so.
Yes. No, I'm not lying.
Okay, thankful. Okay, so maybe we can moving forward to
Yeah,
the next
let's go.
question, right, Cassie? Okay, so the next question is maybe what does a normal day look like for you as a Peace Corps volunteers?
Mhm. Yeah, so I've touched upon this a little bit in the last question. So I wake up early, I take a shower, cold
Oh,
showers in the morning. I still have to like do a little dance before showers
uh,
because it's cold.
yeah, it's really
So I have to
cold.
warm myself up, but it's very so good. I love
Oh,
it. Yeah,
see,
morning shower.
very the good.
Yeah. Um, and then I take the angkot to go to school.
Oh, you
Mhm.
use our transportation public too. Oh, I use
Yeah.
Angkor.
Mhm. I can't like use car, motorcycle, or anything. So
Right, it's kind of dangerous also.
yeah, exactly. So I know almost all the Anko drivers now at my
Oh
site.
wow,
That
really? That's
route. Mhm.
good.
Then I go to school, teach, have lunch with my counterparts, and then sometimes they like to go out after classes to eat like
Oh,
some meat or the pedagang kaki lima on the side
oh,
of the
like
street.
thanks for street food.
Yeah, yep. So sometimes we eat street foods for lunch before we head home. And when I go home, I usually make sure that I finish all of my Peace Corps tasks because sometimes we have tasks we need to turn in,
Ah, I see,
or
I
like
see.
revising like my grant proposals or just brainstorming what I'm gonna do next week. And then I wind down by petting street cats and
Oh, so
yeah,
you also are cat lovers,
I
right?
am, yeah.
Me too, guys. See, we
Oh,
have lots in
yeah.
common. I have 6 cats in my home.
I
Yeah, I have 6 cats.
I wish I have 6 cats.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
I am a very cat
Oh,
person.
me too.
Yeah,
Cats
so
are the best.
yeah, right. Cats are the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's really great. I mean, you said that you wake at 5 a.m.
Mhm.
It's almost same as we as a Muslim like to we have to pray at 5 a.m. and then maybe some of us maybe go back to sleep before we go to school. Or maybe some of us just enjoy the breakfast while watching the cartoons on
Yeah.
televisions. We
Yeah.
usually do that during junior high school,
Mhm.
during SMP, and then just go to school and then back on the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And then just eat and then hang out with friends. So
Right.
that's
Right.
what usually as a
Yeah.
junior high school do. So that's very interesting to see a perspective coming from volunteers of Peace Corps that is teachings in Indonesia. Okay. Uh, so as you said before that is as volunteers of Peace Corps Indonesia, right? The main focus is in education, but however, you can take another subject or focus, right? Such as you said, maybe during on your free times, or maybe during more like if you have a free day and everything. So, is there any maybe projects or some agenda that you are currently work on in the place that you teach right now?
Yeah. So, within the education sector, I do lead the English club with a counterpart, and also
Oh,
English for teachers.
oh
Because
wow. Oh
yes,
yeah.
because in order for the students to continue to learn English after I leave, I don't want it to be only the English teacher's burden, but
Yeah.
also maybe every teacher can learn how to speak English as well. So
Right.
um, it's more sustainable, so I do that at school. And I've been doing this for months, but I talk to the local farmers at my site because um, my school, I want to say, is pretty developed already. And so I wanted to do something outside of the box. So I started like walking around my community, trying to get to know people and see what my community needs. And
Ah.
I noticed that literally in my backyard is a lot of rice
Oh,
fields
you're
everywhere,
right.
farmers everywhere. So it started with me just going on bike rides in the afternoon, and I would come across beautiful rice fields, and some farmers were still working. And I was like, hey, can I hang out here a little bit? Then I started asking them questions like, what do you like about living here? What are your struggles about being a farmer? And that's when I realized that some things that I can do to help them by collaborating with the local agriculture department. So I've been kind of just brainstorming for the past couple of months on what's feasible for me to do in order to help them. So kind of just brainstorming what I can write or propose for my grant. And if not, just continue to work with them on a personal level. Yeah, so that's one type of secondary projects that
Yeah.
volunteers can work on. It can really be anything.
Yeah, that's very great. I mean, just by you at first recognizing that there is a very agricultural system, right, in West Java especially. So by that, and then you have a thought that you can contribute and also putting some efforts and in helping those farmers in order to like asking them questions and also talk with them like how the struggle they have been so far. I think that has been very wonderful so far, yeah. And I hope whatever it comes, it's the best for you and also for those community in there.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So, Cassie, uh, maybe we can ask for last but not least questions, right? Moving on. Uh, can you tell me or tell us what did you do to fit in the society and make friends with the people around there?
Hmm. So I always walk around my neighborhood and I say hi, sapa duluan, I say hey, hi
Oh,
to the farmers, to my neighbors. There's also a university near my house, so sometimes I walk around the back route and like I see them and I say hi. So really just putting myself out there and introducing myself to everyone, letting them know that I'm here. So they're comfortable with getting to know who I am and befriending me. There's also a lot of events at my site, a lot of cultural events. And I try to go to each one of them as best as possible.
oh
And
wow.
that's where I've been finding a lot of the friends that I have right now, is just by going out there and putting myself out there and being involved. And I remember before I started my service, our former consulate general told us that, he said, I share my title with you as a diplomat. So for me, that's like, represent yourself well, represent your country well, but also be genuine and make as much friends as you can. And so that's what I'm doing. Just trying to grab friends left and right wherever I go, whenever I can, and try to find some similarities with them. So sometimes, they don't know what to ask you because
Yeah.
maybe they're like, oh, like I can't speak English or
Yeah,
something.
right.
So it's my responsibility sometimes to initiate those
Yeah.
conversation and
Start the conversation
yeah, and
first.
ask them questions and ask them where they go to hang out and if I can tag along sometimes. So
Oh wow.
it's really scary, I guess, for like especially for introverts. But I'm not an introvert. I see myself as an
Oh,
extrovert,
extrovert.
yeah, which kind of helps. But even for introverts, like maybe if you study in the US, and I don't know if you're an introvert or not. I don't think so.
Yes, I'm not introvert. I'm very extrovert actually.
Yeah, but for my introverted friends, there's nothing scary about putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Really, yeah.
Please, please.
And you can ask the most random questions to people. It doesn't have to be specific question because that's
Right.
what makes it fun. You can ask them pretty much anything that's appropriate, you
Yeah.
know?
and sometimes random things that makes you closer even more, right?
Seriously,
Like
yeah.
just talk about random things, hang out even more.
Mhm.
And then once you comfortable, then you will just become friends to each
Exactly.
other.
Yeah.
And then when you needed each other, then they'll be here for you too.
Exactly. Yeah. So my philosophy is if I want friends, I have to be a friend too. So that's how I've been.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I've been getting closer to my community and making friends at my side.
Oh my god, that's really wonderful. So as an extrovert myself, I believe that it is true that sometimes we really you know we trying to always be good friends for everyone's, right? We try our best to start the conversation and everything, but I just want to say it's if you can't at least maybe still shy or maybe still not confident enough, you can just simply say greets to them like hi and asking how they're doing, and
Mhm.
maybe simply just greet them, go introduce yourself to them. And then if you have another opportunity or if you meet them in another opportunity, then you can start talking little by little, and then
Mhm.
those little moments can make a progress by far, right? So just like Cassie did, so as Cassie said that she loved to walking around
Mhm.
during the free times, and there while walking, she's just not walking admiring the nature, but she's also build a community, like having conversation with the locals right there, and then build relations with them so that if something happen, they can be there for each other.
Yes.
So that's why we have at least to be friends with everyone's, be kind, and also be support for each others. I think that's all, Cassie,
Yeah.
for today podcast. Is there anything that maybe you would like to say to the audience of the podcast American Corners, like to motivate them, maybe either to become, to reach more friends, or maybe to, you know, or maybe just to be brave or be
Mhm.
confident about themselves. Just don't overthink everything, trying a big opportunity. Is there any message that you would like to tell to the audience? Please, if you have.
Sure. As an extrovert, I will say I do have my fair share of social anxiety sometimes. Yeah,
Right.
I still do
Yeah.
get nervous, but
Me too. Me too.
yeah, what really helps me though is knowing how to make fun of myself too.
Yeah.
And being okay with that. Like laugh at yourself first. Don't take life too seriously a lot of the
Yeah.
times, you know. And sometimes the thing that scares you is the thing that you need the most, is the thing that's going to help you, that's going to
Oh
help
my
open your
God.
doors. So,
Right. Right.
yeah, fear is it's normal, but it's your enemy. And so befriend your fear, but don't be scared of it.
Oh wow, that's very good line.
Thank you.
See, fear is your friends. So, fear is your friends, but also it's also your enemy, right? So don't be scared of it. So you guys, what she said is really true. So in case you are still in confidence about yourself, you still like to uh maybe not brave enough to try other opportunities to make relations with other people, just know that there are other peoples that also trying hard as you are. So just be brave and just go out as the best as you can, because I believe that other people will see your progress. They will see your what, like usaha. What is usaha means?
Effort?
Yeah, your efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, just try your best and everything. And for volunteering, maybe, is it a really recommend for you for other people maybe
Mhm.
to try volunteering in any kind of field, either it's in organizations or it's in community
Mhm.
or anything. Maybe it can be our closing remarks for this podcast.
Of course.
Please, if there is.
Yeah, I would say volunteering has two biggest impacts, not only for me, but for other people. The first is you obviously get to build a community. So whenever you're in trouble, you have like this community because you've given back to them. So it's natural for them to want to help you as well. So you've secured your village, kind of. And the second is you're always giving back to the community and helping people. So there's that self gratitude, satisfaction that you have. Um, a lot of people they feed their self satisfaction sometimes with buying the newest technology or
Yeah.
designer bags or,
Yeah.
or getting the newest cars. But for me, it's again, this is kind of cliche, but it's just giving back to the community. And it can be as small as buying food for the stray cats and giving them
Right.
food. That's giving back to your community. They're part of your
Right.
community. But whatever it is to help other people because believe it or not, once you need that help, that will come back to you. So volunteer truly from your heart, not only because you need help, but because you want to be the help first, and
Yeah.
it'll naturally come.
Yeah. I'm totally agree with you, Cassie. Okay, so uh I guess that's all for today podcast with Cassie.
Yes.
Talking about bridging the volunteering,
Mhm.
especially as the volunteers of the Peace Corps itself. So I hope everyone in the audience understand and also enjoy for today's special podcast. And thank you so much once again, Cassie.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining with us. It's such a wonderful time to have you here in Yogyakarta.
Yeah.
In the previous event, we have talked about the how study in the US thing, and
Mhm.
then now we have to record a podcast with you talking about volunteering works
Yes.
and your Peace Corps work, and then it's just such a blessed day to have you here. So we, the volunteers of American Corner Jakarta, and also our director would be thank you so much
Yeah.
for having for participating in this agenda.
Yeah, I would also like to express my deepest gratitude for having me and everyone else here. This
Yeah,
is such an amazing space that you have, and I'm so glad to see a lot of students at this university motivated to learn English and study in the
right.
US. And you're here volunteering, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
that's in your free time. I mean, I
Yeah,
really commend you for that. Yeah, thank you for keeping the space going. I see how beneficial this space really is,
yes,
and I hope it continues to be that way. And
yeah.
I hope this isn't my last time visiting
Yes,
here.
I would also say maybe thank you for
Yeah,
your hard works, for your hard work for volunteering here in Indonesia
my
for more
pleasure.
than a year,
Yes,
and then for the next 1 year more, right?
yes,
So yes, thank you so much for all those hard works. I believe it will very beneficial for those in the community that you help in your teaching community, and I hope it's sustainable as just like what you have
yes,
been working on. And yeah, I believe what's good will be good
yes.
in the result. So I guess that's all, everyone, for today's podcast of American Corner Jakarta. I hope you guys enjoy it once again. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Cassie.
thank you. Terima kasih.
I guess see you everyone in the next podcast of American Corner Jakarta.
Bye.
Bye.